All right, next in our lib here, I'm going to create a new directory. Let's call this board Firestore, like that. That's going to be our app. I'm going to right click again. Let's create another directory, call this UI, just to separate everything, as you know by now. Util, and we can just add one last one for now, model. Very good. And I'm going to add the actual user interface. So Dart here, I'm going to say board app. Let's import here material. So we can also try to import Firestore. So say Firestore. The moment you do that, notice that we don't actually get the Firestore plugin as we would expect it. So there's a problem here. Okay, this sometimes happens. I did this on purpose. So what do you need to do? Let's go back to our pub specs here. Remember what we did? We just say cloud Firestore as such, and we said pub gets and hope that it would all go well. It showed that it went well, but unfortunately we're not getting anything. This is a bug, I would say, but let's start by putting any to see if we can get any version. Okay, so save this and say pubs get, see if that works. And it says everything went well. Let's see if that's true. Let's go back to our board app here. I'm going to say import Firestore, and you can see now we have the cloud Firestore.dart, okay, and many others as well. Firebase. Remember, Firebase is the umbrella, if you will, of Firestore. So very good. We have our Firestore there, and life is good. So we can now start invoking classes and functions to connect to our Firestore database. All right, let's go ahead and create a stateful widget here. Call board app. This should be probably community board app, but that's fine. Short for board app. Should probably community board app, because that's what we're going to be building incrementally. But it's okay. Board app, that is short and sweet. Very good. Let's make sure that I copy this and add to our main, because that's what we're going to be calling. And as you know, let's import that so we have access to our board app. So let's go back to our document so that we can actually add a few things. Earlier, you noticed that we created our collection, call it board, and we added by hand a document, which is what we see here. The cool thing here, you notice there's a lot of flexibility. We can add more document, we can add another collection, we can even start another collection inside of a collection. Collections have more flexibility, as you see here. One of the things also is that we can add a field on the go. But most importantly, we can also edit the field from here as well. So I'm going to click here, and notice it shows this field description, the field name, the type, and we can add a value. Let's see description. I'm going to say this is my first item, like that. Say update. All of a sudden, notice that now we have updated and this description has that text. Let's do the same for our title. So edit, say first comment and update. Okay, let's go ahead, add another document. I'm going to say auto. So the field is going to be title. It's a string. I'm going to give a value. Second item, another field, description. This is my second item. Enter, and voila, now we have two items, okay, two documents per se. Both of them have these two fields. Very good. We can add as many as we want. So next we're going to be able to see if we can actually go and fetch this information from our database here. The first thing I'm going to do at the top here, I need to create a variable that will point to our board database. Knowing that we have installed our Cloud Firestore successfully, we now have access to all those methods that will help us get things done. So at the top here, I'm going to say var Firestore DB, like this, okay? And I'm going to say Firestore class, Firestore, look at this, you can actually access it like this. I'm going to get an instance of Firestore and then go to collection, right? Collection, what is collection in this case is going to be this collection here. What is the name of this collection is board. Hence, we are going to pass the path to that collection. Now, the path of that collection is just board, like this. Okay. Once I get to that collection, I want to get a snapshot of all of the items inside of this collection. So this collection here has a document. Actually, it has 2 documents. Could have more than 2, but at this point, these are the documents that we have added manually. Okay, so we need to get a hold of that. How do we do that? Well, we just say dot and snapshot. Very good. The snapshot goes and gets the snapshot of the situation that we have in our board collection, internally, what documents we have inside. Now, the thing here you have to understand is that because we're dealing still with futures, we're dealing with streaming data from Firestore and all that stuff. It gets a little bit complicated when we want to retrieve or send information to the Firestore database. So Flutter, as helpful as this framework is, does have a very handy plugin called Stream Builder that really helps us getting information without having to do a lot of work from our collection, from our Firestore. So for now, I'm going to return a scaffold first. We can pass an app bar if we wish to do so. Let's give it a title that will say community board, like that. Very good. And for our body, this is where I'm going to just say stream builder as such. There we go. So the stream builder, just like any other builders we have used before, allows us to pass information that it needs to build the user interface. Okay, so in this case here, for our builder, we need to pass our context as well as our snapshot, which is the data that we need. And the other thing we need to pass here is the actual stream that we are receiving. Well, where do we get the stream from? Well, this comes from what we've created here, Firestore DB. Okay, so just pass in like that, and it will know how to do with it. So at this point here, the stream builder knows exactly what the data that it needs to stream, so to extract things from it and let us put in a user interface. But as you know by now, the first time this runs, the snapshot is not going to be there. Okay, it may take a little bit for it to be available. So that's why we always want to say if snapshot doesn't have data, so snapshot.has data, so we're negating it if it doesn't have any data. What we want to do, we're just going to go ahead and return a circular, let's say circular indicator like this. Okay, to say, hey, we're still thinking, we don't know yet. Okay, if that's not the case, then everything is good. I'm going to just return here a list view builder, because I'm going to just build a list view, which will then extract all the information and show things. So list view builder, I'm going to pass context here, and I'm going to pass int index. Okay. Very good. Now, you know, also at this point here for our list view builder, we need to pass the item count, which is going to be a snapshot like that data, that document, documents like that. And I'm going to go ahead and get the length of that document. Okay. This has to be documents. So we are looking at the documents. In this case, has more than one. So we're going to look at the list. We're going to look at the length of that to say how many do we have so that our list view knows how to construct itself. And of course, this will have to return something. And we're going to just return. Let's just return text snapshot, because that's what we are getting from our builder here. So data, I'm going to go to documents. And for each document, because we know it's a list, we're going to pass our index like that. So it's going to go ahead and get each one of our documents. Okay, let's finalize with semicolon there. Now, what's going to happen here is that this is going to just get the object of our document, right? Meaning, so it's going to get just the whole object of our document. We want to go and get each one of these items, right? In this case, let's just go ahead and get a title. Well, in this case here, we're just going to go ahead and probe in and get the title, for instance, like that, okay? All right, so let's save this and see if this works. Hopefully all goes well, and we should be able to see at least the title showing up. So when you run and you get this very nasty error here, the best way to solve this problem here is you need to go to build that Gradle. Remember, this has to be the build. So inside of app, you go to build that Gradle, okay? Not the outside one. And in the inside of min SDK version here, you're probably going to see 16. What you need to do, you need to change this to 21. Okay, save this, and I always like to rebuild the entire project just to make sure that things are set up fine. And I'm going to just go ahead and clear all, and let's rerun this. And voila, and just like that, we're able to get the second item and the first item from our database here. Very good. So if you wanted, of course, to get description, of course, we're gonna say here description, save and run again. And you can see all of a sudden it says this is my second item, this is my first item, which is the description for each one of them. Very good. It went ahead and did that real quick. And at this point here, let me stop everything because I'm also running on iOS. So let's rerun this on iOS real quick. We're going to be able to see that also runs on iOS without any issues. All right, now it's all ran, and you can see this is my second item, and it's showing there perfectly.